Welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name is Grant. Yesterday I received off of pre-order a new edition of Axis and Allies Guadalcanal. This game was originally released, I want to say it was 07, 06 or 07, something like that. I missed this. I think the last Axis and Allies product that I bought in the good old days was the Bulge edition, like in early 2000s. This is one that I've always wanted to get a hold of and play. I've heard it's got some very unique and interesting elements, and it is in the Pacific theater of operations. Always one of my favorite, Japanese versus Americans, for the control of the Solomon Islands and Guadalcanal specifically. Just really great. You're going to see lots of great pictures. They always do a fantastic job with the art. Here you have an explosion, but the guy's shooting there. Love the Americans coming on. Nimitz there. You can see the superstructure of the aircraft carriers in the back. You've got a Zero, and then this is an Avenger, I think. You're probably correcting me, but Avenger, Dauntless, some of them look very similar, but that's a nice looking aircraft. This has 172 detailed combat unit playing pieces. You can see a couple of the ships there. The game is also, obviously originally Axis and Allies was a Milton Bradley product, and then I think Hasbro picked it up. Recently, Renegade Game Studios has acquired the license and done a whole bunch of reprinting. I think this is one of the first ones they did. I also have on my shelf, and we need to play it hopefully this year, maybe in August, the Axis and Allies World War I variant. But I'm going to go ahead and get this open. Let's go ahead and look at the back of the box. You've got this little battle box, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I've never used it, so I'm very much interested in playing it. This is a two-player game, right? Typically, Axis and Allies is anywhere from 2 to 5. I'm talking about the big Axis and Allies, the revised edition, where you're using the whole globe. This is literally a small portion of the Solomon Islands there in the Pacific theater, centered once again around Guadalcanal, Bougainville, New Georgia. There's Guadalcanal there, but these different islands in the, I want to say those were the Bismarck Barrier, or what they referred to as the Bismarck Barrier. But yeah, lots of different pieces, both miniatures. Just love the way they've presented it. They've done a really good job with these. And this is not a new game. It is a reprint of an older game. But once again, I didn't have it. I pre-ordered it, and I think it was, I want to say it was $60 on pre-order. Probably a good $15 to $20 cheaper than retail. And then I had to pay, I think it was $10 or $12 in shipping. First thing here is the rulebook, operations manual. Fairly standard Axis and Allies rulebook. Sequence of play. There are 27 full pages, but the last couple are designer notes. Sequence of play. You're going to get this if you understand Axis and Allies, and there's nothing overly complex. This is kind of an Ameritrash style war game, lots of die rolling. And here's that battle box. When you've got these different the dice, and you're gonna use that battle box to roll. Very much looking forward to that, because that's kind of a gimmick, and I never experienced it. So there's a look at the couple of the pieces. We'll check those out. But you've got everything from artillery to anti-aircraft, transport ships, subs. Obviously, you have destroyers, battleships, and cruisers, as well as aircraft carriers. So you've got a little bit of everything. There's that cool battle box. Again, we'll look at that here in just a minute. But yeah, it looks really good. Very much looking forward to this. I think Alexander will jump on the opportunity to play this with me. First thing you see here is a couple of, or one counter sheet. One of these, or two of these things are kind of off basically off map boxes that you're going to hold armies on. Kind of cool. That's the Japanese one, centered around Raval, and then New Caledonia is the United States one. But then the rest of these are control markers and different explosions, first player marker, control markers, different things that you have. Double-sided, very nice looking counters. Kind of an interesting looking counter sheet because you, and the other thing in this game that is a big part of the game is the supplies. These are supply counters. Let me pop one of those out for you. And it says supplies on the back. I was reading about this. I was like, ooh, that sounds cool. Anytime you have to focus on logistics, supply, and that kind of thing, I'm immediately going to be interested. I don't necessarily want the game revolving all around that, but I am interested in supply. It's a big part of a war game. So here is the mounted map board. Once again, just focuses on this small, I say small, this section of the Pacific. Turn that sideways so you can get that in there. Mostly ocean. These are areas, so you're going to area move here and there, do amphibious landings. Really nice looking board, very simple. Kind of cool. And then I mentioned these off-map boxes here. They say one move to New Caledonia, so you're going to kind of have those there floating off board, kind of acting as your off-map elements. So that's kind of neat. That'll be fun to play around with. Here are some player aid cards with the sequence of play, the cost of your different land units, as well as their attack and air, sea, and land attack, special abilities that they might have. Talks about supply tokens, all the different sea units, the land units, and the air units. So these are very nice player aids. Very sturdy, very thick. You're not going to damage those. Here you go. Here are the bags of units. You have the American green, and then you have the Japanese kind of reddish. They look really good, though. Really like the color choice. But, standard Axis and Allies Japanese unit. I think in my original copy, I've broken off most of the bayonets on the rifles. Sorry, that's having a lot of trouble focusing. There you have a big bomber. And then, as you can imagine, this is a Pacific game. You've got transports, you've got destroyers. Very nice looking sculpts. I do enjoy minis, I'm going to be honest. You got more destroyers. I know you have aircraft carriers and some battleships. Let me get one of those. Man, these are huge. That's an aircraft carrier. It's another transport. But that's a huge aircraft carrier. Just looks really, really good. And then you've got your big battleships. Really nice. Yeah, the minis are really well done. And that's what you expect from these Axis and Allies games. And that's part of what they built their success on. And then here you have a big U.S. Aircraft carrier. You have multiple of those. Big bomber. Once again, destroyers, battleships, a little bit of everything that was a battleship. This is a Liberty ship or transport. Lots of minis, and they just look really, really great. Great production. As you know, your tiddlywinks or poker chips, that represents units underneath a unit. So this would be 1 infantry. If you had this stacked on top of 3 of the grays, you would have a total of 4 infantry. One of these typically is 5, or you could do 10. You probably need to do 5, but those are very handy. You got a bunch of bags, a custom insert, by the way, plastic injected, looks really good. And here's this battle box, and I don't want to tear it up. I need to really, but you can see this says pull. So it's like a drawer. I don't want to, you're going to pull that out, and that's going to be just kind of a cool, so you shake up the box, kind of a neat little thing, and then you pull it out. I know, once again, this is a novelty that a lot of people remember from their days of playing this game, and I very much look forward to trying that out as well. Should be fun. But that's kind of unique and interesting, that Guadalcanal battle box. So there you have it. That's kind of all the contents of the box. There's not a ton there. I'm actually a little bit surprised, but it's a great looking product. Very much excited that I got this. I know they have a North Africa version on order that should be coming out, I think, later this year. I need to get my order in on that one because that is a brand new one. Never played an Axis and Allies game in North Africa other than the normal, Morocco, Tangier, Libya, over to Egypt, that you've seen in Axis and Allies. So there you have it. Axis and Allies Guadalcanal. Very, very cool looking game. 2 to 3 hour play time. So it's bite-sized Axis and Allies in many ways, which is a good thing because, as you know, a normal game of Axis and Allies can take 10 hours, 12 hours. And there's nothing wrong with that if you have people that are really into that. But this will be one that's 2-player only, and you can play it in 2 to 3 hours, which will be great. So thanks for watching here, but this is Guadalcanal, Axis and Allies Guadalcanal from Renegade Games Studios. A really brand new game just off of pre-order. Looking forward to it. So thanks for watching. I've been Grant from the Player's Aid.